Hello, welcome to another episode of Accessible Airwaves on CGSW 90.9 FM.
This program is dedicated
to the education and exploration of disabled life,
giving voice to the life and experience of people with disabilities.
We cover a wide array of issues and disabilities.
We are people who discuss issues we are passionate about
and topics we are interested in.
We show how disability is in the mind of the beholder.
Hi, my name is Austin Riley, and you are listening to Accessible Airwaves on CGSW 90.9 FM. I am talking to Griffon Simony, one of the founders of Shift Accessibility, a contracting company specializing in accessible and barrier-free construction, renovations, modifications to homes and businesses. Welcome to the show, Griffon, and how are you?
I'm doing pretty great. How are you doing?
Good. So my first question to you is, can you tell us a bit about your work background and what you're doing prior to founding Shift Accessibility?
Yeah, for sure. So it's myself and my business partner, Josh. We both founded the company together. We met both working at a larger general contracting group, mainly focused in commercial construction. Prior to starting Shift, I was working in actually engineering consulting and bridge construction. So a completely different world than the one that I'm in now. My business partner, Josh, he was a superintendent for a large commercial general contractor. So still touching a little bit on the accessibility side of some of the buildings that he was working on, but still like quite a shift into this niche that we're working in now.
That is wonderful. Great to hear. My second question to you is, what was the inspiration behind Shift Accessibility and when was it created?
Yeah, so we founded the company or incorporated the company in January of 2019. So we're actually just halfway through our 5th year in business right now. Speaking for myself, where the inspiration really came from is I moved to Calgary after graduating from university to work, and my father's side of the family all lived out here, and moving out here, kind of just experiencing the challenges that my grandparents were facing in their home of 50, 60 plus years, and the transition that they were going through into an assisted living facility. Just watching how and talking with family about how there weren't really any options for them staying in the home. And then once they moved into an assisted living facility, seeing that there wasn't really a ton that was made accessible to them either. Obviously, there's, an elevator to get up and down to their suite, as well as a somewhat barrier-free shower. But when really looking at the built environment and, creative or really helpful solutions for kitchen cabinetry or bathrooms, bedrooms, those sorts of things just didn't seem to really be thought of. So I was kind of having that experience around the same time as, being just interested in doing something on my own. Residential construction really interested me, and I really enjoyed the idea of working with homeowners, kind of helping my grandparents transition and move from their home. I honestly just thought, they're so appreciative. It's so great spending time with individuals who are appreciative of the work that you're doing, and helping them out. And experiencing that kind of made me be like, I think there might be something in residential where you work a lot more with those types of individuals rather than in large commercial or heavy civil construction. And around that time, my business partner, Josh, was working for a large general contractor. Great company, awesome experience, but you could kind of see the next 30 years in front of you. And for him, it was really just looking at how can he make a more meaningful impact each day coming home, seeing the change that he's creating. And so in his research of him also wanting to look at doing his own thing, he kind of came across some organizations in Ontario that were looking at this accessible renovation work, and seeing that that was a niche and a possibility, explored it in Calgary, saw that no one was really doing this, and actually approached me within a few months of my experiences and asked, what do you think about starting an accessible renovation company? And both of our wives said, why wouldn't you? And so we kind of just started it up from the ground up, and here we are.
Wonderful that you're doing this. And what kind of services are offered at Shift Accessibility?
We primarily work in residential, so residential renovations and remodeling. We do a little bit of commercial, but residential is where we've really kind of found our niche and performed the most of our work. The main project types that we see most often, for ourselves, we're a general contractor. We'll kind of take on anything that we need to within someone's home to make it accessible for them. But the project types that we see the most of, number one is bathrooms. So modifying bathrooms, whether there's a tub that we're converting into a shower, whether we're increasing the footprint of the bathroom to give more space for accommodating mobility devices, just adding safeties to the bathroom. That's kind of one of the main project types that we do a lot of. We also do a lot of elevator retrofitting. So retrofitting elevators into residential homes. This is typically when people are looking to be able to either navigate all the levels of their home, whether it's basement, garage, main floor, second floor, or if they're, just trying to get from main floor to basement. But adding elevators has become kind of an interesting one for us. When we started the business, we didn't really think about it. But we'll typically build and design the elevator shafts, and then an elevator supplier would come in and put the elevator in. Outside of that, we do quite a bit of additions. So adding onto the square footages of homes, whether that's to increase the living space of the main floor, move primary living to the main floor, or we also do additions to accommodate elevators so that we're not impacting the existing floor plans of homes. And then outside of that, I would really put it into general renovations. We also do a little bit of work with some government agencies, so helping them with providing accessible renovations to injured workers, those sorts of things. But we kind of do full service residential. But yeah, mostly bathrooms, elevators, additions, and then obviously, we do kitchens as well and other kind of projects here and there. But those would be the main services that we provide.
Wonderful. My next question, can you tell us about the team members at Shift Accessibility and their different roles?
Yeah, so we kind of have, I would almost say, two different types of team members, or what we consider team members. We have the employed team, so that's ourselves, project managers, carpenters, and such. But we also have the team members, which are our trusted trade partners. So other small businesses here in Calgary and across Alberta, such as plumbers, electricians, tilers, flooring contractors. On the internal side, we have project managers who manage our day-to-day projects. Josh, my business partner, he is mainly our operations manager, so he'll oversee all the projects that we're taking on and all divisions of running projects that we have, as well as obviously connecting on the higher level business side of things. For myself, I run all of our sales and financials, so do a little bit more in the marketing. Currently, I'm the one who is in more of our Instagram videos and those sorts of things, but I'm also the one who goes out and meets with people the first time that they get in touch with us, as well as managing kind of our back end financial systems and everything. Then beyond that, so we have our management staff. Then after that, we have infield. So we've got carpenters and laborers. So while we do subcontract a good bit of the specialty work on our projects, we also do a lot of the in-house labor for demolition, site preparation, some excavation, concrete, those sorts of things. And it's really just a matter of how we can allocate our internal resources. And then for all of the specialty work on our projects, we do not touch any plumbing or electrical. We've got professionals that we bring in and work with and partner with on all of our projects to execute those. So they've all really become accessibility experts in their own fields. One of the benefits and one of the things that we said when we started the business was that we didn't want to hire anyone who we wouldn't put into the homes of our grandparents or of our families. And so we've done a lot of work to gather and weed out and solidify a strong team of both internal employees as well as trade partners to execute the projects, just to give like that full service, professional, high quality product, and to make people feel comfortable that we're in their home and that they can trust that we're doing the right thing. Because one of our things that we're always trying to do is kind of redefine people's perceptions of contractors and what the home renovation experience can be, and not one that's always stressful or you have, who knows who coming into your home. We work really hard to have like a really professional team that's involved on every project, and that is also includes professionals within their own specialty trades.
Wow, nice. My next question to you is, we know that starting a business can come with many new learning experiences. Have you had any setbacks when starting your company, or do you have any advice for others starting their own businesses?
Definitely. I would say probably one of the biggest, I'm not sure if it was a setback, but it was definitely a challenge for us, is that when we started the business, accessibility contracting wasn't necessarily a thing, at least in the Calgary and Southern Alberta area, from what our research told us. There were renovators and general contractors out there who had a line item on their services that said aging in place renovations, accessible bathrooms, but no one really knew to look for someone who is specializing in these areas. And so for us, I think it was a challenge that most any business would have when they're starting up, but maybe for us trying to start up in a niche market, it might have been a little bit different, is just getting the awareness of the services and of the organization that you have and the company that you've started was one of the main challenges that we had when we started up. We kind of got through that, I would say, through just like a lot of business development, a lot of knocking on the doors of doctors' offices, physiotherapy clinics, home medical equipment suppliers, just to get our name out there and let people know that we did exist. To be honest, I think it's still something that we're working on and bringing awareness to, is that we are out there and that we're a service that people can lean on when they're looking at typically more like physical barriers within their home to them living independently or more comfortably. But that would probably be what I would consider the biggest challenge outside of, I would just say in business, when you're bootstrapping a business, there's obviously the financial challenges that you go through when you're starting out that just, I think, comes with a lot of them. And there's nothing too specific about it other than just keeping pushing and leveraging yourself where you can and being willing to take risk. But I would say, the awareness of being a kind of starting up a new niche or a new section of the industry was probably the biggest challenge for us. And then thinking about what advice I would have for others starting their own businesses, it's kind of a tough one. Like, even if I try to conceptualize it of like, what advice would I give myself? To be honest, in my experience, I think you need to be a little bit ignorant to what it's actually going to take to start a business. I think you have to be, maybe ignorant's not the right word, but overly optimistic and kind of keep chasing that carrot. I think it's oftentimes a lot harder than you think it's going to be, and it takes longer than you think it's going to take, and it requires a little bit more sacrifice than you think it's going to require. I'm very thankful and we're very grateful to what the industry has done for us, and the fact that now 5 years in, I don't feel those pressures as much. When I know of, you hear these stories of businesses where the first 10 to 15 years was just an absolute grind. And I think we did a lot of work up front, and we tried to play our risk and our smarts in even keel, so we didn't go too far in any direction. And thankfully now we're to a place where it's not as stressful, but I would still probably say it's very stressful. But yeah, when it comes to advice, I don't really know. I think it's like you just kind of gotta go for it
Go.
because why
Yeah.
not? Like it's really like all of any friends or anyone I talk to who has any sort of inkling or desire to go and do something on their own, I always tell them to do it. Just, don't think you're just going to do it and all of a sudden everything's going to be great, and recognize the risk and the challenges that come with it. But I think if you do and you give all your effort and you're smart and you'll have to take some risk and you're comfortable with that, then I think great things can happen. But unfortunately, it's not like the most direct advice that there is. I think I'm still figuring it out. So
Yeah.
I just don't even have any advice for myself yet.
Yeah. Well, we all do. We all do.
Yeah.
Okay. How does your work benefit individuals with disabilities?
So one of the big things for us and our organization is that when we looked at the landscape of what was available for accessible renovations in people's homes, there were already companies out there that can, install medical equipment. There are already companies out there that can quickly pull your tub out and put in a shower. What we're really focused on is marrying aesthetic with functionality. And that's where I think our services really shine through. When people have major renovations done to their home, they don't want to have it done in a way, one, that they think, devalues it from the aesthetic resale perspective, but also, is a compromise on their comfort, their enjoyment of the space, their mental and emotional feelings when they're in that space. And so the thing that we really do to try and benefit people is show them, hey, you can have a space that's accessible for you, that's functional, that gives you independence, that also is an expression of how you want your home to look and feel. And you don't need to compromise on that just because you need a zero threshold shower, or you need a grab bar here, or you need a little bit of additional lighting. We work really hard, and again, it goes back to the trade partners we work with as well, to provide really seamless, custom, and beautiful solutions to help aid and avoid some of the challenges that people face in their home when they face mobility challenges or other challenges that we work to help with. So when we look at the overall benefit, I think that's it, is that we're trying to give people a space that they feel comfortable in, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally. And I don't know. That's the benefit that we're trying to provide. So, or that we're working to provide.
Yeah. Good for you. What reaction do you get from the community about shift accessibility?
So from the community, we've had really positive feedback. I know that we get a lot of referral just by word of mouth from either people that we've worked with, or even people that we've just quoted work for through different Facebook groups, organizations. One of the biggest drivers in the community as well for us, and something that was really important to us when we started, was finding a way to give back to that community that's been so great to us and supportive. And the way that we do that is through a nonprofit called Accessible Renovations for Kids. It's a nonprofit here in Calgary where they provide renovations to families with children with disabilities at no cost to the family. So they aim to provide, or to cover the cost of the renovation, 50% being by donated and discounted work, and the other 50% to be funded through charitable donations, fundraisers, and those sorts of things, so that they can provide accessible solutions to families at no cost to them, whether that's accessible bathrooms. We've done some lifts in homes. And the way that we partner with them is that we provide all the construction and project management for them. Everything basically at cost, no fees. My business partner and I just donate all of our time. But working with organizations like that, I have found has been honestly a huge boost to our team, a huge boost to Josh and I, and what we're trying to achieve with the organization, as well as a huge boost to the community. Because unfortunately, you go out to some projects and putting an elevator into a home is expensive, or renovating a bathroom is expensive, and so working with organizations like ARC allows us, we go into these situations and you want to help out as best you can, and ARC is the way that we can give back to the community by coming out and basically providing everything below cost, and at no cost to the family. So, and then obviously doing like things like that are received well within the community, but that's not really what it's about. Like, I would say we don't do a great job of even showcasing that we do that work, but the positive reaction that we've gotten from the community is one of the things that we really want to give back to, and that's kind of the way that we're trying to do it.
Wonderful. My next question to you. Do you receive any positive feedback or stories from your customers? Would you like to share with us?
I think like the most positive stories that we would get would come, well, I shouldn't say the most positive. Some of the really positive stories that we get actually come from the ARC projects that we do. Having the opportunity to work with families and provide solutions to them when they're carrying their kid up and down the stairs for the past 6 years, or fighting in the bathroom to provide like safe bathing for their kid when they just have a tub and they need a shower. Those are the stories that I know for our team are some of the most meaningful. It's not really specific feedback, but it's the ones that I think it's the stories and like watching the change of circumstance in the home from, fighting with the home to try and provide for your child, to having a space that supports you in doing so when you're already dealing with a lot. I think that's like the most positive indirect feedback that we could get.
Yeah.
For specific projects that we do, I think the biggest thing is just removing those challenges that people face in their home, and watching, if it's not a parent carrying their child up and down the stairs every night, it's a individual who's struggling to go up and down the stairs every night just, on their own. And so when we finish those projects, I think it provides a lot of peace for the families with even just knowing that, when your wife goes out to get groceries, she's not then worried that you're going to fall down the stairs, because that's what you have to navigate. And again, I think it's like that indirect feedback and just witnessing the change that happens with the customers and clients and friends that we work with. That's the greatest feedback. We do Google reviews. There's good reviews on there, but the feedback that I really enjoy is kind of just watching the indirect stuff and seeing how the work can really change people's lives.
Wow, it really does change people's lives. Are there any plans to expand outside of the Calgary area?
There is right now, and it kind of goes back to the challenges and setbacks side of things. Again, like I would probably say more challenges that I think there's still like a lot of opportunity within Calgary for us to expand our services and our offerings to better serve Calgarians as well as surrounding area. At the moment, like we do work up in Airdrie. We've looked at jobs as far as Red Deer. We've done some work in Banff and Canmore, as well as then, South Okotoks, High River, those areas. Someday we'll see, might make our way up to Edmonton. There's no date marked on the calendar or anything yet, but it's definitely something that we've thought about. at the moment, we're trying to serve kind of like Southern Alberta as best we can. We do a lot more of the smaller project sizes for all of Southern Alberta, and some things take us down to Lethbridge. But I would say if we were to really expand at the moment, it would be looking up towards Edmonton. That just might be in a few years. We'll have to see. But you never say never. That's the other thing with, I guess, advice for business owners is that you think you have a plan and you know where you're going, and then all of a sudden something comes up, an opportunity, you jump on it, and you could be going in a completely different direction, but not for any worse, usually for the better. So
Wow. Good. Is there anything else you want to add that we did not cover in this interview?
if you want to find out more about us or kind of see what we're up to, www.shiftaccessibility.ca or at Shift Accessibility on Instagram and Facebook is where we post a lot. We're trying to do a bit more of the social media thing, so we've got some videos on there.
Thank you so much, Griffon, for joining me.
Thank you for the opportunity and for reaching out. It's always exciting to talk more about it and talk with like-minded programs. And then it all also helps with the challenge I talked about, which is getting our name out there and letting people know that we exist and that we can hopefully help them out. So I just really appreciate the opportunity and you guys letting me come on and talk a bit about what we do.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. This is Austin Riley, and you are listening to Accessible Airwaves on CGSW 90.9 FM.